Okay. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2, 3. It does seem as though it is working. 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 It does seem as though it is. Okay. All right. Cool. Make sure the audio works on both Twitch and YouTube. Because it would suck if I was talking and I just couldn't hear anything I was saying. Okay, it does seem to work. Okay, it does seem to work. Now, what about YouTube? Yeah, it's working on YouTube too, I think. Now, what about YouTube? All right, sweet. All right. Without further ado, welcome to Repulsive Pokemon. This is a series that I kind of wanted to start. Here, actually, let me just hold on. What tab is this? All right. Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of that. There I am, little guy. Yeah, so this is a series I wanted to start for a while now. Before you see a wheel that has numbers 1 through 1025, and that corresponds to every Pokemon that has been released publicly. So Dialga's in there. I'm pretty sure some Ultra Beasts are in there too. Just everything is in this wheel. The idea is that I spin the wheel. That was a test spin, by the way. I'm not starting with 507. I'm gonna do a fresh start on it. But the idea is that I'm going to spin this wheel, and whatever Pokemon it lands on, I'm gonna draw its whole evolutionary line in a scuffed, fun way that's cursed and entertaining for all of us. Yeah. So without further ado, let's see what's on the menu first. Which Pokemon am I going to be uh defiling, I guess. That's a good word for it. All right, all right. 951. Let me just pull up Google real quick. What is Pokemon 951? Oh, this is an interesting looking little guy. All right. It is Capsicid. I think this is from what is it from? The British one. Sword and Shield, I believe. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to draw his full evolutionary line. I think he only has two, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Pull it up on this website here, Pokemon.com. So this Capsicid. Yep, it evolves into Scovillain. So there's two of them. Thankfully, this one looks a little easy to draw, but I'm definitely going to be uh, going in further detail. So, yeah, I'm gonna open up my Wacom here real quick. This is a fresh blank page. So we're gonna have Capsicid and Scovillain. All right, I think I'm gonna increase the size here. There we go. So when it comes to Capsic or Pokemon in general, I've been a fan for a long time. Uh, as of now, I'm not really playing a lot of the games. I was a huge fan of the spin-offs like Mystery Dungeon, things like that. I'm gonna grab some references real quick, actually. Oh, that's the wheel page. I've been a fan of Pokemon for a very long time. Since I was like, I think 7 or 8, I got my first game, which was Pokemon Emerald and Pokemon Diamond. I had both of them. Um, Kind of for the DS Lite, which I believe had two different compartments, one for GBA games and one for like DS games. So I remember like playing the hell out of those games when I was little. Then I lived in an apartment. And there was a guy in there, a kid named Ryan, who I at the time, me being little, I didn't really think anything bad would happen if I decided to lend my Diamond game to him. But he ended up never returning it. I think he still has it to this day, wherever he is. But it looks like Capsa Kid's got this like pepper thing going on with them. All right. So right off the bat, I'm thinking like like a big, giant, bulbous head. He's like a pepper, so I think he's gonna be like. Gonna add a couple wrinkles here every so often. Peppers don't last forever. It's unfortunate, but it's a sad truth. Eventually, they get like really wrinkly and then like dry. So I'm gonna try to incorporate that into this little character. But it looks like he's got these weird hair things that come up. So we'll definitely be including that. I think these are like flower petals or something. Yeah, I think that's what they are. Like the cap to a strawberry or a jalapeno. Make that stretch out. I've never played well, I shouldn't say I've never played it, but I haven't played it in a very long time because I just didn't really have interest in it when it came out. But I did have a copy like forever ago of Pokemon Sword and Shield for the Switch. Uh my stepbrother at the time, I think we ended up giving it to him just cuz I was, I was doing college stuff and I was kind of an adult at the time, so I was like thinking to myself, I'm really not going to be playing this cuz I'm doing college classes and I need to focus. I did, and I graduated with a degree in animation, which I use now to make VR chat models. But he ended up not touching it, so I think somewhere he has like this one fox Pokemon from the beginning of that game that's named like Bartholomew or something. I can't tell if those are like eyes or holes. It's like this weird concave like shelf in his face. You know what? They're holes now. That's what they are. Sometimes when you like grow peppers or like grow anything for that matter, you end up in a situation where they get all kind of deformed depending on what they were enclosed in. I think I'm gonna try to go for that. So this Capsicid kind of accidentally, I guess he was pressed up against a fence for too long, and the sun was beating down on him. So he ended up like wrinkling and looking a little messed up with time. I'm gonna draw like one really thin eye, I think, like up here. If this is your favorite Pokemon, I am so sorry. I had to do it. I ended up Quasimodoing your favorite Pokemon. One of the things I'm considering is getting a couple of artists together, aside from myself, and maybe doing this as a collaborative effort, which would be pretty interesting. I'm friends with this one artist, Laertive, on a Discord server, and you know, they like to make a lot of really cursed stuff too. Sometimes they make a lot of really good stuff too. Like it's not just scuffed Pokemon like this, but hey, what's up, Huntress Kitty? I just saw you join the stream chat not too long ago. Yeah, I saw the thing earlier. Huntress Kitty is, for context for people who are watching this back, one of my friends who does a lot of streaming of like Peak and Repo and things like that. Yeah, this is the beginning of a series. I'm making scuffed Pokemon, which are all messed up. I think peppers on the inside of it also have like this weird like this layer thing. I don't know. I need to pull up a reference for this. I'm trying to go for that like that seed pod that's in the middle of like red bell peppers. That thing you trim out every time you like roast them up. What does it look like? Oh, it's just like a cluster on the top of it. Okay. It's still pretty weird looking, but do that. Okay. So I'm gonna actually retcon this drawing. So this will go back. And I'm gonna use some 3D artist magic, kind of get an idea for like where the grooves on this thing are. Because right now there's like two of them, the three sides. We got one that comes off of this area that stems inward. Then you got the seeds growing off of that. And it kind of colloquially goes to the center and separates into three like categories or three seed pods. Three wings. Yeah, like wings of a museum, I guess. That's a good way to describe it. Where you got like the seeds growing on the center stem thing in the middle of the pepper. It kind of sucks that this one doesn't have like proper eyes, because when I like making, my cursed art, I really enjoy seeing like kind of I like the best way to describe this is I like drawing characters that look like they've been in a like a pool full of chlorine for too long. They got like red swollen eyes, highly detailed irises. For the record, I have been making like this kind of art since before Meat Canyon. Meat Canyon actually came after I was doing this shit in high school. When I found him, I was like, "Yeah, it's another artist who does this kind of thing. I love it." This used to get me into trouble because I'd like doodle like this shit on tests, and they were not fans of that. I was gonna kind of combine the line work for the head a little bit. The reason I do this is because when I do the fill at the end of it to get like the base colored down, I want to make sure that it's fully enclosed so that way I don't end up with a situation where it's like leaking into the head. Hmm. He's got this beak thing going on with it. I wonder if I could just like an owl's beak. Oh, that looks more like a turkey vulture. He's got like the nostrils. I don't think this Pokemon has nostrils, but that's not going to stop me. Oh god, it's like Jabba the Hutt. Okay. Now, I believe I said this before, but this pepper definitely got like Quasimodo to some degree. The running theme for this one is that it kind of like this capsicade got grown by the fence in like direct sunlight, so it, like withered with time. That's like the membrane inside of pepper. And do this. It's not necessarily shading, but it's just finer details. Everything needs more wrinkles every so often. He's got this weird kind of jowl thing right there. And then this beak has a tooth, doesn't it? We gotta add some gums real quick. Add some fine line work on this tooth. When I color that in, it'll look a little bit more atrocious. Um, what else does he got? He's got this weird kind of tumor thing growing out the back of his head. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be like an acorn cap or whatever, like the stem, but that's not how we're gonna draw it. One thing you should know is I like making things scary looking. So he's got this like, yeah, that looks about right. Now the lower half of this thing's body is pretty interesting. It's like he's got this like thing going on, like a poncho a little bit with arms that grow out of it. Naturally, this is gonna be like gross and withering. Isn't it so fitting that it's almost like Halloween and I'm drawing this kind of stuff? That's my favorite time of the year. I love Halloween. Now, I don't like arms that come out of like nothing. So I'm gonna give this guy some actual definition. He is gonna have shoulders, but it's just gonna keep the color. He's got that. Then his forearm is going to come down. Like so. I think when this thing evolves, it gets like 2 heads from what I was seeing. That'll be fun to kind of interpret my own way. But it doesn't seem like this thing has any real fingers, so I'm just instead going to give him a singular finger that kind of comes out like this. Gonna have like a jagged nail on it. I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm not. There you go. He's got a finger arm. And then the lower half of his body is gonna have like I think he gets like really wide hips, if I remember correctly. You know, I didn't do it. I just realized I didn't add any of the tags or anything for YouTube. I'm also streaming on YouTube, by the way. Oh, you know what? I might add just a BRB screen real quick, just so I can post this in a couple of servers that I'm in. Isn't he looking so good so far? That's lovely. True physique right there. That talent. I'd cast him. He could play like a cabbage and he could play a cabbage in like the live action Avatar. They knock over the cart. This guy just comes out like goes like and just runs off. I could see that happening. Okay, let me just really quickly put that on there. I'm just making sure that I spread the link down a little bit. Maybe get a few more people in here. I'm gonna put this in here. All right, so that's a self promo channel. I'm gonna put that in there. I'm trying to spread my influence and grow. Love doing this. I am notoriously kind of a hermit when it comes to socials. I'm starting to get more into it because I don't want to like be I you can't like be real successful. I think as an artist if you're just gonna be not posting any of your stuff. So I've been trying to keep up with that and make sure that it's like I'm actually trying to promote my content so more people can see it. I posted it in a couple more channels, so we'll see if we get more people joining. All right. So that screen's going to go away, and we are back to it. So he's got like this big red tomato body. I just realized I made. But I got to make his other arm. That comes down the other side. So, for those in the chat, what's your favorite Pokemon? Oh, my favorite Pokemon is. It's kind of hard to just to You would never expect it, honestly. I like Smeargle. I think Smeargle is a pretty awesome Pokemon. I know it's kind of like this doesn't have a lot of, power when it comes to like competitive stuff. But honestly, I just like the idea of like a little artist guy walking around painting things, putting like graffiti on walls. You know what I mean? I feel like if I lived in that universe, I would have a Smeargle. We would be best buds. I'm gonna. Yeah, that looks about right. I'm trying to make it so that way it looks like this arm kind of turned. Yeah, that works. That looks good. Now he's got like these bulbous legs. I'm trying very hard not to apply human anatomy to this thing because I know it's like a plant. Plants grow differently. But human anatomy is just kind of fun. I'm just squeezing in little bits and pieces wherever I think I can get away with it. Like I gave him pectorals. You can probably get away with like, yeah, that looks kind of good. That's like the underside, I guess. Give him big beefy legs. Every Pokemon. I'd imagine if he's carrying around so much weight, he would have big beefy legs. I know I do. I'm pretty fat. It's his knee. From what I can tell, he doesn't have like they don't go out far. He's got like little nubs underneath him from the official art. So I'm just gonna end it up with just a singular toe. Kind of like what I did with the hands. It's just gonna come down. You have very well defined calves. That and then it's just gonna be like fun fact, art fact, feet are actually shaped more like this. There's like this arch here that some people sometimes forget to do. Always remember it. It'll help you look cool. And people won't bully you as much in school. Now for the other side, I'm gonna make the whole nail. I know he's a pepper, but when it comes to Pokemon, you have to like some of them are kind of alive to some degree. Like, well, not saying plants aren't alive, but like you gotta make it more animated. I think in order to do that, you can get away with making it look like they have some, bodily animal features, I guess. Unless they're like ghosts. I think ghost types don't really get that. Oh, he's got a tail too, doesn't he? All right, so we're gonna make the tail. That's gonna come out this side. Look at that. Or don't, depending on how you handle cursed artwork. He's got a little nub coming out. And that looks like finished artwork of Capsaicin Kid. Alright, so this is a pre-evolution, so this guy's actually going to sit in the corner here. Because I have to draw his actual evolution. Which I'm going to do on a new layer, I think. Scovillain. I can understand why this guy would grow up into a villain. He wanted revenge on the farmer that grew him badly. Oh, his evolution looks pretty interesting. I think it's got like seeds lodged through the bottom of its like face. You know what? I'm gonna just post it here so that way you can see what I'm talking about. So there's a lot of like potential here. I think what I'm gonna end up doing for this skull villain, I'm going to have one of the heads be not fully grown yet. Which is gonna look slightly cursed, but hey, that's what it is. You know what you signed up for when you joined my stream. So for Scovillain, I'm thinking he's got much more pronounced eyebrows. Like JoJo character eyebrows. That looks like a good eyebrow. Then on the other side, come down like that. And in the middle, I forgot. I'm gonna get rid of this, some of this. I'm gonna make him have like a gonzo nose. Like a Minecraft villager or something, or like a tapir. They got like this weird stem rutabaga thing coming out the back of their face. This is a very loby looking creature. Got a lot of lobes on it. It's like a proboscis monkey. So it says this guy's like a villain, Skull villain. It's in his name. I'm trying to figure out what type of villain he'd be because he doesn't really strike me as like a thug. He seems a bit sophisticated for that. He seems like the kind of guy that would smoke cigars, and, like pet a cat in the corner, like a Bond type villain, or like something that a kids cartoon would spoof, like a mafioso. But he's got like these weird piercing things on here. So we gotta like naturally incorporate those. So it comes out the other side. I think these are supposed to be seeds. I'm gonna give him like a goiter. He does have a little bit of a goiter going on if you see that underside. Give him like a goiter and jowls. You know, it kind of strikes me as he strikes me as a bit of a Moriarty type villain. You know, like he's real smart. Takes a lot to put him into custody. That's what I get from this fella. He does have that kind of lobe look to his face. He's very unhappy looking. I wonder why. Maybe it's because I drew him looking like this. I know the back of his throat's kind of exposed. He's got this weird like turnip thing going on with it. Like an Invader Zim tongue. I think I'm gonna have it further back in his face. We've already established that these holes are empty. This is just like it's just empty space. You can kind of see through, or I don't know, maybe it's just there for like effect. So I'm gonna have the stem kind of come out the back of his head like that. I don't exactly want to give him an Invader Zim like tongue. I think that would take away from it. I'm going for like a weird detailed thing. Invader Zim just a little too cartoony. I just realized I drew his head like freaking huge. Shrink him down a little bit. Alright. This plant dinosaur thing can shrink down too. Yeah, there we go. So he's at least gonna have one face that looks kind of okay. Like it grew properly. Put it that way. Then his other face is gonna be A lot not good. No, that made no sense. His other face is gonna be kind of like Jimmy'd from South Park. That's real fucked up. That's a bad joke. I'm sorry. Hmm. Anyways, at least got one of these. Give him like old man muscles, like a turkey neck. I don't know about giving this guy a turkey neck. He doesn't really seem like the type. He's got like another one. Maybe that one can be like a really gross looking wilted. Yeah, like that. Like the stem on a Halloween pumpkin. There we go. Now this other one's gonna be like kind of butt faced. This is relaxing. Drawing is very relaxing for me. I'm trying to get into the habit of trying to keep myself talking because I realize if I don't talk for long enough, it's going to be very quiet for the stream and not as entertaining. Which I'm also trying to go for. I'm trying to make it entertaining. Top of, you know, first. Maybe that's why he's a villain. His evil twin just whispers bad things into his brain at night. It's like Total Recall, whatever the guy's name was, like Buffo or whatever. That was not his name. No, I'm gonna Google this. What was the weird guy's name? Uh, Total Recall fetus. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. Quado. It wasn't Buffo. It was Quado. I was right. It sounds similar. Knew it ended with an O. Freaky looking. That's a really cool practical effect for the time. All right, back to work. I'm not pulling that up on stream because it's like body horror. If you're really interested, you can look it up yourself. But yeah, he's got like a little Quado going on here. The beginnings of jowls. Does anyone come? They said anything on my YouTube? I don't think they did. Okay. That's alright. I'm primarily going to be reading Twitch comments, I think. I might read some YouTube ones too. It takes a while to hop back and forth between programs. All right, I got most of their neck, like heads done, so I'm just gonna leave those for now. Now we're moving on, moving right along to his body. He's got this neck thing going on. Add these waxy little pepper leaves. Really sells the fact he's a plant. He seems pretty buff, but like we mentioned before, this guy is like withered, so he's gonna end up having like a little emaciated body with thunder thighs. So we're just gonna that's his torso. I'm gonna make this you kind of see his ribs. This Pokemon has bones in his body, but like only on the lower section. His head has no bones in it. It's like Kif from Futurama. Bunch of inflated sacks that keep it together and hold its structure. Anyways, he's got that bony section done. Now it's time for the thunder thighs. Oh yeah, they're big. I'll draw his arms in post. The one thing he carries over from when he was like little. And most artists might move this up and give them space to fit more shit onto the canvas, but I'm not most artists. So I'm going to cram his little legs in here as best as I fucking can. So he's gonna have really, really thin calves. Short. Like that. I think there's like a muscle that goes in like there too. Get rid of this. He doesn't have. You know what? He doesn't have a belly button, but he does have this weird like cross section thing going on with him. So I'm gonna add that. But next question: does he have feet? He doesn't. He has seeds though. His feet are kind of like folding over a seed. Look at that. It's absorbed. The foot seed. Making it look kind of like a toenail. Then it looks like I'm gonna draw his arms now. Oh god. This is gonna be a very freaking weird callback. But you know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of the spring guy from Dougal. See if I can grab a picture of him. Dougal is like this fever dream of a movie that came back in the early 2000s. It's like a early 3D animated thing. For those of you who are interested, don't watch it. It's real bad. It's like the most nothing burger of a movie ever. It's meant for kids. Uh, yeah, there he is. Z Bad. Google Z Bad. Let's see if I can find a full body image of him. There we go. Do a side by side comparison. My guy doesn't have a mustache and his eyes are a bit lower, but you got to see the resemblance just a little bit. All right, that's all I wanted to show for that. I'm gonna get rid of Z-Bad, and we're gonna start drawing some more, shall we? I gotta finish this guy up. I think the best way to do that. Give him little emaciated arms. When I was seeing on his arms, they don't really like. They don't have like any super strong details by the fingers. It's just kind of a glob hand. So I think that's what I'm gonna do too. Gonna have a glob hand with a nail on it, of course. What hand is complete without a nail? I would add hairs to it, but I don't think that plants have hairs. They sometimes have like fuzz on it, like peaches. But I don't know if I want to detail that. Now for his other arm. I think I want to make his other arm like even worse. Like smaller. This is the arm that belongs to Watto. Blanked out its name for a second. So it's only gonna have this tiny little thing that just kind of like hangs off of it. There we go. He's got a little finger. All right, father and son side by side. God, he looks rancid. I wonder how big Scovillain is compared to a human. I'm gonna try to get this accurate. I don't have to, but I don't know. It's fun. It doesn't look like they're too different in size. They might just be around the same size, actually. Capsicid just kind of comes to the top of his torso. So Capsicid's gonna be like there. Oh, he needs a tail. He doesn't have a tail yet. Gotta draw a tail on this guy. He's also gonna have it hang down, kind of like that. I'm trying to make it not phallic, but that's his tail. For all those who may be concerned, that is a tail. That is what that is. It cannot be interpreted as anything other than that. Okay? Okay, good. I had to color them. So the way that I normally do this is I use my magic wand tool I have over on the side here. And then I take that magic wand tool and I hit the blank space. I'm using Krita for anyone who might be interested in the art program. Oh no. Something's the way I kind of like figure out what's open and what isn't by using that tool. And then I just kind of carefully go around the outside and make sure everything's closed. That's not because if you have any open spaces, then you end up in a situation where it maps the inside of the body. You don't want to do that because if you do that and you fill it, like the method I'm about to show, then it ends up like leaving the line work inside colored underneath, but then all the open space that should have color in it doesn't. So it looks like Yeah, the lines are pretty good. They're full. Pardon, I was yawning. Okay. And then an easy way to tell. Nice. You can see kind of like the line work wrap around if it has an open space in it. So this is a quick way to figure out if it does. Anywho, I'm coloring these guys on the same layer. So what I'm gonna do, instead of going to the fill tool, I'm gonna use the gradient tool. It looks like the common color between, oh actually I can't really do, I'll just start with Capsicid. The common color between them both is this kind of like this green color. So what I'm gonna do is copy that, and now I'm going to flip. So I'm going to go to select, invert selection. So that way, the field that is going to be full is inside of the line art. I'm going to take the gradient just above everything, and I'm going to just do that. It colors them in. And that's how I color things now. At least for my cursed art. Anywho, I'm going to focus on this fella. So I'm going to get rid of the line work for there, and I'm going to do that. So now whenever I color, it's going to be inside of that field. So Capsicid's got a lot of colors going on with him. Got this thing, which is the color of his upper torso. We're actually going to do that and fill it. This is actually empty. I don't know why I forgot to include it. Whatever. We'll add in the minor details afterwards. I'm just making sure that this is all colored in nicely. And since I got this, all enclosed, when I go outside of it, it's not going to pick it up. I leave any streaks where I don't want them. So I'm also going to color the inside of his face. Actually, the inside of his face has another color to it. Got this kind of like dark beige olive looking color. I'm going to do that. And then his head has this thing going on with it. And then he's got a beak. I'm going to use an airbrush to help blend that beak in. Those buck teeth. Forgot the color in the buck teeth. I think his buck teeth are the same color as his hat, so we're going to do that. Change brushes. Nice, nice. And I know that in no depictions other than this, he has any flesh, but I'm going to include gums on this guy. Just because I can. You know that's teeth coming out. I've got to connect the line work back up. Fix that. The villainous duel. Oh, I forgot to color the inside of his mouth too. There we go. And then they got like these kind of light beige seeds on the inside. I'm going to color those in now too. Just like that. Those are the pepper seeds. That's actually where a lot of the peppers get their heat from. It's like a synthesized awful one. You know what? I haven't told my pepper story. This is the perfect stream for that because I'm drawing something that's like a pepper. Um, Me and my friends, we do this thing every summer where we go camping and then take a trip into Boston. When we're in Boston, we go to this thing called a Pepper Palace. It's this little store in Faneuil Hall Market that's just off the street. You know when you're like walking in downtown cities and stuff, you see some buildings and shops are like below street level. And you can walk down to them. Pepper Palace is one of those. I think they've since moved locations and they actually have like a on street level store. But the first time, my friend Stevo, he has a he really likes spicy stuff, like really things that could like screw up your digestive system for weeks. That's he just eats that like candy. He decided, while we're going into Boston, he's like, you guys ever been to Pepper Palace? And we're like, no. So he's like, yeah, this is gonna be great. I'm gonna have you go into the shop and we're gonna try the hottest hot sauce in the world, which at the time was like, you couldn't even, it had to be synthesized. It was that intense. There is no natural, like, pepper that gets that freaking hot. So we go to the countertop and he's like, these guys are going to be having the end flat line. And, the guy behind the counter is like, oh, okay. So he goes and he pulls out this piece of paper. He's like, hey, sign this waiver. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, this has killed people before. Sign this waiver so that way, we don't get sued if you die. And I'm looking at my friend. He's like, it's okay, man. You got this. And I'm like, all right, I guess this is what we're doing today. So I signed the waiver. And then the next thing I know, the guy goes and he gets this like small little box of like tiny, tiny serving spoons. They were maybe just big enough to fit like a pill in there. And he comes out with these and he's like, all right, so here's the deal. I'm going to take the hot sauce and I'm going to put one drop in each of these. You're going to put it on the back of your tongue and you're going to swallow. Do not move it around your mouth. So I do that. I go and I swallow it. But me growing up Italian, I always like to savor what I eat. So I didn't eat, I just absentmindedly just brushed to the top of my mouth, which you don't do, especially if the guy instructs you that you're eating hot sauce that has killed people before. So I take this hot sauce and I down it. At first I don't really feel anything, but then it starts growing and of course it gets to the point where it's like a jalapeno where it's like, "Oh, that's hot." But then it doesn't stop. And it still doesn't stop after 30 minutes. It just gets worse and worse and fucking worse to the point where I am frantically sprinting out of this place and I go sprinting into Faneuil Hall Marketplace to find anything like milk related. Because if you ever been to like had like super hot peppers and stuff like that, you know that, you know, you can kind of dull it out just a little bit by eating things that aren't like as like eating milk and or drinking milk and like ice cream and stuff like that. So I'm waiting in line for ice cream and I'm just like I must have been like terrifying the families going to eat there because I'm just kind of pacing around like a lunatic. Eventually I get it and I like just down the whole freaking thing and it did not help. It didn't. It continued to burn. And it did that for maybe about an hour until it finally started going down again. And after at that point I was shell shocked. I was just freaking horrified that I had to go through that experience. And my fucking friend, who was an Irish guy, you know, white as you can be, was perfectly fine. He did not feel it at all. He did as instructed, and he was just walking around like, yeah, it's okay. And I'm an Italian dude. So, kudos to him. I guess he like knows how to handle his peppers, but good God. It was just, that was like super freaking intense. All right. I color in this. Oh, okay. That wasn't. Yeah. So that was my pepper experience. It got even worse when I got back to the campsite because, what goes in must come out. And unfortunately, your butt also feels it. So, I'm sharing a campsite with a bunch of other people, and they just hear this screaming and God no. So I'm gonna spare you the details, but if you're going to do like the hottest hot sauce in the world, heed my warning. You know, if you're gonna eat something that has you sign a waiver, you might want to think twice about it. The hottest hot sauce in the world. Right, these things have like these little rutabaga roots or whatever behind them. First time chat. What a time to watch a stream. Hey, what's up, Wobadial? How you doing? Did you hear my pepper story that I just told? Yeah. Yeah, so that was pretty intense. That was my trip to Boston and the Pepper Palace. I got a bunch of stories and stuff, but I'm gonna save them for a bit later. Um, oh, actually, I should give you some context. I don't know how long you've been here, but this is a series I'm starting where I'm gonna be spinning a wheel and then drawing whatever number. I got a wheel that's like labeled 1 through 1025, and depending on what I get as a result, I'm gonna be drawing that Pokemon associated with it. Oh, the start of the Pepper story? Yeah. So, yeah, it should be pretty fun. I'm thinking I might get narrative on the stream at some point. We can switch to like Magma or Drop Pile or something. I can make like a whole collaborative thing. That'd be fun. I'm gonna draw these seeds real quick. Got one big nail. Yeah. So I'm gonna be doing this. I have one of the things that I was also, I'm trying to remember the number of this. This is Capsicid and Scovillain. But I got this as a result of spinning first, so this is what I'm drawing. Oh, actually, that's the bottom part of like one of his teeth. There. That looks pretty accurate. I gotta add his big boy pants though. That could leak through, so I'm gonna close that off. It did leak through. Where did it leak through from? No, it doesn't matter. I close everything. There we go. Look at that. That's tail, by the way. Yeah, stabilizer, man. I hate it. I always freehand like everything, and it does make things look real bad sometimes, but for my situation where I'm just making cursed art, it's fine. It works. Yep. Oh, one of their heads is supposed to be like that would have sucked. I just overlooked that. Yeah, this is supposed to be red. And the inside is like that color. There we go. Yeah, definitely. If you're just putting all your focus into making sure things look okay and like, yeah, you can tell if it's like off. But there we go. Now they're colored. I'm going to add toning to them. Close out of that. There we go. Select, invert select. So now I just go through and I shade and make things look, make them pop out. So I'll find like a texturing brush. Trying to think what would be like a good pepper texture. They're like plant things. Hmm. What about this one? Oh, it doesn't have pressure sensitivity. Maybe this one? Yeah, maybe. Oh, you know what? That might actually do it. You can add like the veins. I'm gonna lower this to like 20, 30 if we can. There we go. Nah. Maybe on the inside. I'll do the inside of the eye that way. Gotta get that wrinkly texture in. There we go. I might just shade it like the regular thing that I do. That looks okay. I'm adding jowls. This guy looks like a villain. Wouldn't you say? A villain. Mwahaha. Smiling fools. Oh, I forgot to shade his cheek right there. Okay. Thought I included that, but I guess not. So we're just gonna. There we go. Smiling Friends is a great show. I haven't seen the. I'm excited for the new season, but I haven't seen season 2 yet. I know it's been out for a while. I've been looking forward to it. I've been following those guys like forever. All those Newgrounds artists. I remember when I was like, I want to say 10. I was starting to get into animation because I had a DSi. Yeah, you do need to watch it immediately. It's great. I had a DSi when I was 10, and I was like making flip notes and all kinds of stuff like that. But I didn't really have a lot of internet access as a kid. Like the closest thing I had was a library, and I'd go there like all the time and just open Flipnote, just look at stuff other people made. And eventually, I made my own stuff too, but I never really posted it because I didn't have internet. But I digress. Um, so I found Newgrounds. Apparently, the my elementary school didn't block it, and Newgrounds has kind of a spotty reputation for like really offensive humor. So I remember at one point I was like in computer class. When you're done in computer class, the teacher's like, "You can just do whatever you want to do." So we naturally kids would go and like play Pop Tropica or like fun games like that. But I found Newgrounds and I was like, "Wow, this is really cool. They have all kinds of games on here. I'm gonna just chill here for now." I pulled up this like really like super offensive game, which at the time I didn't know was like super offensive. And I was like, "This is so cool. You can like blow their heads off." My teacher walks by. He's like, "What? That you shouldn't be doing that. What is this? What is this website?" I think it was one of the old Postal games that they put on there. Postal used to be like this weird point click thing instead of like the 3D thing that came out. And I was just going into like a movie theater or some awful shit. So that's how my school found out about Newgrounds and got rid of it. Rightfully so. Kids should not be using that website. But I think nowadays it's like chilled out a lot more. There's not really as many like edgy humor shit on there. The whole top part of this guy's torso is gonna be shaded in because his giant bulbous head covers up most of it. Tony and G was one of my original um inspirations, I guess, to become an artist. It was Oni and G, Craig McCracken. Uh yeah, big brain. No, Gendy Tartakovsky was there. I found out about Gendy Tartakovsky not from like Samurai Jack because I couldn't see Samurai Jack when I was little. He made a show that released for a little while on Cartoon Network before it moved to Adult Swim, and that was Symbionic Titan. And I, as a kid, I just ate that shit up. I loved it, but unfortunately, it became an adult show, and I think the reason why they canceled it is because they couldn't market it all that well. But there's like insider knowledge, I guess, of you know Gendy not really agreeing with like executives or something like that, and then they ended up canceling the show, which I was really sad about. Symbionic Titan was fucking awesome, dude. For those who don't know, I'm not going to spoil anything. I think a couple of free episodes are up on YouTube. You should watch it. Like a wave of nostalgia, early 2000s. Um, just about done with shading. Oh, I got to do the other head. I forgot to do the other head. That is going to be as dark as possible. Yeah, you should. I'm telling you, Wobadiah, it's worth it. I sometimes put on things to like watch in the background while I'm making art. Like Symbionic Titan popped up in my feed, and I was like, no way. So worth it though. All right, now the Drasco villain's emaciated body. I tell you, he eats his Wheaties, but it all goes to his hips. Skull villain is like swole, but only on the like the lower section of his body. The Squidward image? Yeah, I can see it. Where he's got like all the swollen like tendrils or whatever he's got. Tentacles. Tentacles. I can't do a Squidward. Might be able to do Squidward. Hold on. You Neanderthals. No. Feels like a Minecraft villager. How you do Plankton? Plankton is a fun SpongeBob character. The Krabby Patty secret formula. Alrighty. I think that looks about done. Haven't shaded in the teeth yet, but I'm gonna do that. I think for this one, I'm just gonna shade the bottom ones. Top ones to stay like white. Oh, is that the one where it's like doing that again, Squiddy? Is that the one? Yeah, that's the one. Still playing the cash register, Squiddy? Nice. I think. I gotta color that. Got like a tongue that out of his back of his head. Okay. Do that. Do that. What else needs to be done? I think it looks pretty decent. He's Plant Man. Big Minecraft villager nose, yeah. Uptight voices are pretty fun. Do you go to the Clouder Stick very often? Ha, what am I saying? Of course you don't. It was Nazim. Uh, what number was Capsicid again? I did that in the beginning of the stream. I should know this. 951 and 952. Okay. Oh, probably change the layers. Okay, 1 second. We're gonna do. And then I'm gonna do an ampersands. That is not an ampersands. What the fuck does an ampersands look like? Oh, it's like that. Okay. So it's. Damn it. I'm looking up the right way to spell these so Twitter doesn't make fun of me. Caps Kid and Sco Villain. 951 and 952. And now I like to do this thing where at the very end of it, I will take charcoal, charcoal out just one of the corners. Like so. And I'll add my watermark. Yeah, I'm doing the whole evil line for every spin. I just figure because there's so freaking many of them, it's just easier to sort them out that way. Kills two birds with one stone, you know, and there's plenty of content. There's like tons of Pokemon out there. Specifically 1,025 of them. When I get to Eevee, I've kind of made this soft decision to I'm going to invite other people on, I think, and we're all going to make a scuffed form of Eevee. It'll be a group activity. Yep. And if I can't get any people on, I'll probably just like I'll only do it like strictly on region, I guess. I'll roll Eevee and then I might just do the individual evolutions just if they come up. It depends. I really like the idea of having a group effort one that we can all just kind of collaborate with though. 20. Excuse me a moment while I look through my folders. Actually, hold on a minute. I'm looking through my folders. I just throw up this we'll be right back one. There we go. I just realized I was sharing a display. When you share a display, you share like everything. So I'm throwing on this little like window here so people don't see the other commissions I've done and the other things I've drawn. saves everything for a surprise later when I decide to post it on Twitter or Blue Sky or whatever. Doody doody doo. Not too long now. There it is. Doodle watermark. There we go. Take this. And go back to OBS. There we go. You'll be able to see it. That is my watermark, and I'm very proud of it. Take that, shove it in the corner like so. Sure it fits, and we are good. I like them. All right. Is there anything anyone would like to say before I end the stream? Hoopa Stinka. That's pretty solid. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. If you're interested in my art and the other stuff that I do, you can find me at twitter.com at Whoopsie Doodle. I'm gonna have this in the description on my YouTube upload of the stream. Sorry, I forgot to mute that. I really hope that doesn't get my stream taken down. Fuck. All right. Well, it's at the very end of it. It's whatever. Yeah. You can find me on Twitter at Whoopsie Doodle. No spaces. The W, the C, and the D are capitalized. And on Blue Sky, I'm also at Whoopsie Doodle. Though nothing's capitalized. It's all just like put together, no spaces, no caps. I'm also on YouTube. People want to see my YouTube streams, I'm gonna upload them there. And yeah, if you liked it, give me a follow, like, subscribe, help me build. That'd be awesome. I love making this kind of stuff, and it'd be really entertaining to make it for a lot of people. I'm not. Don't say I'm cooked, Wobadial, please. I don't even know if that showed up in the stream. I made this goofy animation a while ago where I just kind of like I made a Veggie Tales joke animation. And I didn't know what to make the coconut say, so I stole a song for it. All right, anyways, no, I'm not cooked. It should be fine. I'll crop it. That's what I'll do. I'll crop it, and it should be fine. Yeah. All right. Well, have a good one, Wobadiah. Have a good one, Huntress Kitty, if you're still here. And yeah, see you guys. Bye.